I can control it, Zara said. Her voice sliced through the pandemonium like a laser. For a split second, the chaos inside the plane's cabin paused, though the aircraft itself shuddered violently, caught in the grip of failing systems. All eyes, wide with shock, fixed on the 16-year-old Latina girl standing in the aisle of row 19. You what? A woman in row 15 snapped. I said I can control it, Zara repeated, her tone unwavering. The plane. I know how. Laughter erupted, sharp and bitter, followed by scoffs. A man clutched his briefcase and muttered, God help us, we're done for. Another passenger, gripping his seat, growled, Sit down, kid. This isn't a flight simulator. Someone from the back shouted, She's gonna crash us faster than the storm. But Zara stood firm, unshaken. 10 minutes earlier, the flight from Denver to Seattle had been routine. Zara was heading to visit her abuelo, a retired mechanic battling heart disease. She'd boarded early, her oversized jacket zipped up, earbuds in, and a dog-eared aviation handbook tucked inside a sci-fi novel to avoid attention. Flying was her obsession, sparked by her mother, a former Air Force technician who died in a hangar accident when Zara was 9. Since then, Zara devoured her mother's old manuals, ran flight simulations, and studied FAA regulations. She'd even applied to an aviation youth program but was rejected. Lacks discipline, emotionally volatile, unsuitable for high-pressure scenarios. Yet here she was at 30,000 feet with pressure screaming around her. The first jolt hit like a sledgehammer. Drinks spilled, passengers gasped. The second tremor sent luggage tumbling from overhead bins. A child wailed. A beverage cart smashed into a seat. Oxygen masks dropped, swaying like eerie specters. The pilot's voice crackled briefly over the intercom before cutting out. The flight crew scrambled, one attendant pounding on the cockpit door. Silence followed. The cabin descended into chaos. Screams, prayers, panic. Zara sat still, heart racing, fingers trembling, then stood. I can help, she said quietly, then louder to a nearby crew member. I know how to fly. Let me in. The flight attendant, a wiry man in his 50s named Tom, sweat dripping down his temple, stared at her. You're a kid, he said. Sit down. Another jolt rocked the plane. The fuselage groaned. I've studied emergency protocols, Zara insisted. Your pilots aren't responding. You're out of time. A passenger shouted. She's a child. Another sneered. You want to play hero, kid? You'll kill us all. Zara's jaw tightened. You'd rather crash than let someone who knows what they're doing try? Tom hesitated, his eyes flickering between fear and desperation. The plane dipped violently again. Screams filled the air. Zara gripped the seat back, steady. I can control it, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. No one moved, but all eyes were on her, none ready to believe. Yet in that moment of doubt and chaos, Zara stood not just for herself but for every dismissed voice told. You can't. The aircraft shuddered again, a deep groan echoing from its core. The cabin reeked of burnt wiring and fear. Zara held the headrest of seat 3B, her pulse hammering. Voices rose. Anger, terror, disbelief. A woman hissed. Why's she still standing there? Keep her away from the cockpit. Another yelled. I want my money back if we live. Zara ignored them. She'd heard worse, from teachers who called her defiant, from camp counselors who labeled her unfit, from her uncle who said aviation was for other people. She faced Tom again. His name tag glinted faintly. He fumbled with a dead radio, muttering. Still no response from the cockpit. Zara stepped closer. One pilot's likely unconscious. Hypoxia, maybe. You're losing time. Tom's eyes narrowed. How do you know that? I've studied crash reports, she said. Ran simulations. It's textbook. He paused, then shook his head. You're not trained. You're a teenager. There's no protocol for this, Zara shot back. No pilots, dropping altitude, 15 minutes from mountains. You want rules or a chance? Another jolt. The plane tilted right. Cart crashed into a seat. Screams erupted. A girl, maybe 10, tugged Zara's sleeve. My dad says we're gonna die, she whispered, eyes wet. Zara knelt. What's your name? Lila, the girl said. Lila, we're not dying. I'm here. The girl nodded, stepping back. Tom watched, wavering. A man's voice cut through. She's right. Heads turned. An older woman in a denim jacket, late 60s, stood. I flew cargo planes in Desert Storm, she said. She's got the look. Murmurs rippled, some skeptical, some hopeful. The plane lurched again. Tom nodded. Follow me. They moved through the aisle, passengers muttering or staring in silence. At the cockpit door, Tom punched in a code. Clicked open. The air inside was sharp with ozone. One pilot slumped, mask dangling. The other groaned faintly, disoriented. Zara slid into the co-pilot's seat, buckling in. Her hands flew across the panel, altitude dropping, autopilot off, you're unstable. She adjusted the trim, toggled manual override, and entered a stabilization command. Tom hovered. You sure? No, Zara said. But I'm the best you've got. The yoke felt heavy, but she gripped it. Hold together, she whispered, correcting the drift. Clouds thickened outside, gray and ominous. She hit the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Zara Morales. I'm assisting with emergency flight control. Please stay calm. I'll do my best to land us safely. Silence, then a woman's sob. A man's voice. God save us. Another. Let her try. Zara focused on the horizon. The storm was no longer just outside. It was in the cabin, too. You'll want to cut thrust by 3%, said the older woman, now in the cockpit doorway. Her name was Ruth Carter, ex-cargo pilot. Zara glanced at her. Desert Storm, huh? Long ago, Ruth said. But you don't forget. Zara adjusted the thrust. The shuddering eased slightly. Tom stood behind, watching with a mix of awe and dread. In the cabin, tension simmered. A man in a red cap stood. Who let her in there? She's no pilot. Tom stepped out. Sir, the pilots are down. She's our shot. I want a real pilot, the man barked. A woman nearby countered. She's trying to save us. Lila, the young girl, shouted. She said she'd do it. In the cockpit, Zara tuned out the noise. She checked fuel, course, and comms, transponder dead. Her hands moved on instinct, but doubt gnawed. Why don't they trust me? They don't trust what they don't expect, Ruth said softly. Keep flying. The co-pilot stirred. Mumbling, altitude. Zara leaned in. He's waking, but he's not ready. She hit the intercom again. We're working to stabilize. Please trust us. A new vibration hummed. Zara's eyes widened. Right engine's overheating. Ruth leaned in. Can you fix it? Throttle back. Shift power. Engage cooling, Zara said, moving quickly. The cabin grew louder, panic rising. Tom returned. They're losing it out there. Zara took a breath, then spoke into the mic. I know you don't know me. I'm young, maybe not what you expect. But I've studied this my whole life because my mom taught me it's about responsibility. She died doing this. I promised to learn everything, and I did. Believe in that, even if you don't believe in me. Silence. Then hesitant clapping grew to a wave. Tom smiled faintly. You got them. Zara turned back to the controls. "Let's land this thing," she whispered. Ruth nodded. "That's a pilot." The storm raged, lightning flashing close. Zara adjusted for wind shear, hands steady. Ruth called out, "Emergency strip ahead, Colton Field." "It's rough but long enough." Zara pulled up coordinates. "Tight, but doable." The co-pilot, Captain Evans, stirred, dazed. "You're flying." "Yes," Zara said. "Stay still." She and Ruth prepped for landing, flaps, gear, no comms. Zara told Tom, "Brace the passengers." In the cabin, belts clicked, prayers whispered. Lila looked toward the cockpit, whispering, "She's got this." The runway emerged, narrow and rain-slicked. Zara eased the yoke, fighting crosswinds. The plane bounced, screeched, then stopped. Silence. Then applause, wild, tearful. Zara exhaled, hands still on the yoke. Tom rushed in, eyes wet. "You did it." Lila peeked in. "Told you." Emergency crews swarmed the strip. Zara unbuckled, trembling. Ruth squeezed her shoulder. "You brought us home." Outside, passengers hugged, cried, thanked her. The man in the red cap glared but said nothing. Lila hugged her tightly. An FAA official, a man named Victor Grant, approached. "Zara Morales? We need a debrief. Your actions were unauthorized." Ruth stepped in. "She saved us all." Zara answered questions calmly, recounting her steps, her mother's manuals, her simulations. Later, in a shelter, media swarmed. Zara stepped off the bus, facing cameras. "I'm Zara Morales. I'm 16 and I did what needed doing because no one else could. That's enough." She walked inside. By morning, Zara's story was global. Headlines called her a prodigy, a risk, a hero. She sat in her abuelo's Seattle apartment, watching muted news. Her phone buzzed. A message from a flight school. "Horizon Wings. We saw what you did. Train with us." Zara smiled. A door, not a wall. At the FAA hearing, Zara faced tough questions. Ruth testified. She flew like a veteran. The ruling came. No penalties, recommended for fast-track training. Zara laughed with relief. Her abuelo hugged her. "Fly, Mija." In Portland, Horizon Wings welcomed Zara. Instructor Lena Brooks, a black woman, greeted her. "We train those who don't wait for permission." Zara dove into classes, flew a Piper Cherokee, and earned respect. She ignored whispers of jealousy. One day, a student challenged her. "You're here because of fame." Zara replied, "I'm here to fly. Watch me." Months later, she spoke at a youth aviation conference. "Bravery's a choice," she told hundreds. "Prepare, act, lift others." The crowd roared. Backstage, Lena, Ruth, and Victor toasted her. To Zara, pilot, leader. A year later, Zara led Horizon's outreach program. She taught teens like Lila, sharing the cockpit, her story, her mother's legacy. One evening, a letter arrived, a photo of her mom beside a jet. Zara whispered, "For you." The runway lights glowed. Her phone buzzed. Lila's mom. "She wants to fly because of you." Zara smiled. This wasn't the end. It was a legacy, lifting others to the sky.